Getting ready to block this out. I've pulled the tape back from the edges here. I stuck it right back to the edge of the door just so I can get in here but still protect the edge of the back door. Pulled this back and just restuck it to the body. I'm going to leave all this just so the sanding sludge doesn't get all down in here. I don't have to wash it off. Got the wheel covered, but that'll just keep everything clean. I'm going to start with 180 and get it all flat. We'll start with this and come back, do this last over the arch. And then I'll re-guide coat it. That way I can see all the 180 that I've got in it. Then I'll wet sand with 400 to get all the 180 out of it. Then I'll go around the edges and feather it. Then that section will be ready to paint. And I'll just have to go around and scuff the rest of the quarter all the way down the rail. Be right back after I get some 180 done. I just ran over it real quick with some 180. You can see where it's still low, where the guide coat still is. And I'm keeping it in contact with the main part of the quarter here up to this peak line. Just going this direction and then back this direction. Just doing an X pattern. So that'll give me this edge. I don't want to roll over that edge yet. I'm going to come up to this edge, keep it in contact with the quarter. When I come back, I'll do just this area here. That'll flatten that out, and that'll give me a nice crisp edge through here. And if it's too sharp, I'll just run over it with some 400 wet just to soften it down. But I'm going to go ahead and run all this with 180. I don't need to do out into here because I know I don't have any body work, but right where I've got the body work, I'm going to do 180. Then I'll come back and re-guide coat it to get ready for 400 wet. This is as far as I'm going to go with 180. So we got a little bit of a spot here. I actually got a little bit of a cut through right there, but it's not going to be a big deal. I'm going to seal this with white sealer just to get it covered before I put the base coat on it. So that little cut through is not going to be a big deal. There's still a little bit right in here, but I don't want to go too far with it. I can get that out with 400, just like the spot right here. For the most part, everything but maybe a little bit right in here. So now I'm just going to spray guide coat over it again, and I'll just extend the 400 out a little further than I did the 180. Most of this is going to be just a DA right in here and this area up here, so I'll just feather it back. So I'm going to spray a little more guide coat, and I'll be back with some wet 400. Alright, I'm wetting it down. I've got this area pretty much finished right in here. I've blocked it all the way up to my wheel arch. Haven't done any of that yet. That kind of gives me a guide as to where I want to stop my arch, and if I get that arch straight with the guide coat there, then I know I've got it knocked out at least above that point. I just need to sand all this now to get it flat, but at least now I know I've got the arch in it. I don't really see anything wrong with that. Once I get that arch flattened out, it'll get a little bit better. Put a little more water on it. I don't really see any issues there. Should come out fine. I'm going to go ahead and block the bottom of the wheel arch down through here. I'll be back when I got it completely done. All the blocking's done now. I'll wet it down a little more for you. You can see some streaks where the water's running down, but that's flat underneath there. That should do. Looks good to me. Let me go ahead and dry this off. I'm going to do a little more wet sanding around this edge just so it's a little bit faster. I got to hand sand it anyway before I DA it, but after that I'll dry everything off and I'll run the DA around this area. Just knock that down and right up next to the door and then over the body line. I'll probably do that by hand after I get the DA done if I still need to do it, just to soften that. I don't want to cut through that peak line there. And what I'll end up doing is just putting white sealer up here, and then I'll run the white up this way and up towards the pillar there. I'm sure the mix will be close enough, but I really want to try to stay away from the trunk lid just in case it's off slightly, which it really shouldn't be. But I'll spray it at a downward angle right here and get this covered with sealer, and then with a couple coats of base, and I'll blend the third coat up that way, just so the whole quarter is one color and it'll blend up this direction. I'll be back when I got it ready to paint. It's ready to paint now. I'll show you what I've done to mask it. There's a gasket around the glass on front and back. I've got trim masking tape pulling that away from the A-pillar all the way up. There's a little bit of a gap in there that the paint will go in and get behind that rubber gasket. Got this trim off. Got everything in here scuffed. Same thing with the trim masking tape back here. Pulling the gasket away. Got foam tape running through here behind the quarter in the trunk. And I'm actually going to paint all the way to the panel, brake back in here. So this will all get painted too. The whole entire quarter. And there's foam tape in here. This piece right here, I just grabbed behind it and just lifted a little bit and the whole thing popped right off, so it wasn't a big deal. I went in and took it off since it was so easy. I'm going to go through and check. This has been sitting for 2 days, so I'm going to go through and check all my tape, make sure it's stuck. I'm going to put one coat of white sealer over that just since it's so dark. I may need to buy me some white primer just so I can lighten the primer up. Either put white primer or maybe just make it a value shade 2 so that I can still see where it is but it not be so dark. I may just do that. Because I'd really like to go straight to base coat with this, just to speed this up. But I'm not going to be able to do it because mainly because I've got some cut throughs right there. But if I didn't have those cut throughs, I could just go straight to base coat if I'd finish this out. And it's in 400, but if I finish it out even in 400 or 600, I could go straight to base. But I'm going to have to seal it, mainly because of the cut throughs, but also because it's so dark. They take too many coats of base. I'll be back when I get the sealer ready. Okay, this is adhesion promoter for the blend. This way the sealer will have a wet bed to lay into. Alright, sealer's next. Okay, now I'm going to put one coat of sealer just over the primer. Alright, I'm going to let that dry for about 20 to 25 minutes, come back with the base coat. Okay, I'm just about ready for base. I got to mix it up. Sealer's been sitting for about 25, almost 30 minutes. You get the base coat mixed up now. Alright, it's probably going to take at least one more, probably 2 coats. I'll be back when I get ready for clear. Alright, base coat's dry. I'm going to put on 2 coats of Chroma Clear. Alright, I'll show you this first coat, then I'll be back when I'm done. We'll give that about 5 to 6 minutes and I'll finish it up. Alright, finished about 5 to 10 minutes ago. I don't really see much trash in it at all. I was trying to keep it super clean just so I don't have to buff this thing. If I'm going to pick it up tomorrow, I'm not going to have a whole lot of time to do a whole lot of buffing, so. There's one fisheye, which is really about the only flaw. Let's see if I can find a reflection. Right there. Fisheye showed up. I can drop a dab of clear in that and it'll be perfectly fine. Other than that, it's spot on. Don't have any complaints. At least they shouldn't. Body work turned out nice. It's right in there. Don't see any problems there. Paint laid out nice and slick. I'll give you a final look whenever I get it put together, but this is essentially done. I just got to put the bumper back up, tail light in. I did take the mirror out just to make it a little easier to paint around up there, but didn't have to take a whole lot off of this one. Be back when I got it together. Just finished the detail work. Give you a quick after shot. Got it put back together a second ago. Washed it. You ought to be happy with this. Hopefully he'll bring it back soon for that front end job. That's gonna be a pretty big one actually. Doesn't look that bad, but it's gotten a lot of parts behind it. Maybe I'll be able to bring you back on this one for the front end. See you later.